Beast!
Lately we've been wondering what's the next step in the power-ups of the Straw Hat crew, more namely Luffy and Zoro. Now we covered a few ideas in the past of their power-ups and what's next for them, but now we discovered some new ideas that can bring them up to the next level. The next power-up of Luffy is his Gear 4 form, and for Zoro, a new Asura form. Getting excited? Good, then let's dive into this. Now like always, before we go into what these forms will be and their traits, first we must discuss an idea we had that will lead to these powers. Hi everyone, Flying Panda, the One Piece theorist.
Luffy and Zoro's new powers, Dragoon Man and Demon Form Asura.
By Literary Anime. Hi everyone, Flying Panda. Now let's go all the way back to Pang Hazard. Ah yes, Pang Hazard. Seems like we've spoken about this arc a lot in many videos. And why not? It's such an underrated arc, and yet it holds so many clues and ideas for future events within the story, and in this theory is no exception. One of our favourite parts of this arc was the part where Luffy and Zoro battled the red dragon named Number 13. Remember that name, because it will be important later. Zoro ends up killing the dragon in the same style and fashion as Rumor does from Oda's original manga novel Monsters, which we all know is part of Wano's history. Also we know in Wano, so this holds even more importance. Shortly after Zoro killed the dragon, Luffy's first thought was, it looked tasty, which is no surprise. We all know Luffy will eat out just about anything that has meat. At least Brook is safe there. This is then followed up by Luffy's suggestion they'll eat it, to Usopp's disgust at the idea and Zoro suggested that they can barbecue it as the land is on fire. Now we know Luffy and Zoro ate the red dragon, which leads us to the theory. Ever heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Well, what if this is true? In literal sense, we all agree that it's true that you are what you eat. Nutrients from the food we eat provide the foundation of the structure, functions and wholeness of every little cell in our body, from the skin and hair to the muscles, bone, digestive and immune system. Now before you start thinking, so what, they become dragons now? Are you crazy? That's not what we're saying. I'm not suggesting that Luffy and Zoro have started to undergo a transformation where they will turn into dragons. That's just dumb. This isn't a fairy tale. It's more down to the true factor. They digested the traits of the dragon and in some way or another it fused with them to make them more powerful from the benefits the meat of the dragon can provide. Consider this, dragons are mythical creatures and said to have a variety of powers. Now take into consideration that it was Dr. Vegapunk who created the dragon. How did he create it? What did he create it from? Was he making the dragon there for the same time he made a dragon, or before or after? The point is, the dragon was a lab engineered experiment, meaning it wasn't natural, and that means even its DNA might not have been fully natural. Again, this doesn't mean that Luffy and Zoro will mutate into dragon, but let's consider the traits of the dragon and what its own power can do for them if they absorb these traits. The dragon has tough scales, very strong and solid defense, resistant to fire as it was living in the land of fire and seemed well at home there. Breathe fire like most stories of dragons and is a common trademark of a dragon. Has wings, therefore the ability to fly. These 4 traits are very useful and make for a nice power boost, but we'll only be focusing on 3 of the 4 because the scales are much different from the iron body technique. In regards to Luffy, the fire resistance and flame breath are more suited. Luffy has already shown some resistance to fire with his own flame based move, Red Hawk. Now consider Red Hawk fused with the Red Dragon's fire breath. It will increase the flames tenfold and create a more powerful over attack. The fire resistance may come more in the form of a new Gear 4 form, which we are dubbing Gear 4 Dragoon Man. Dragoon Man form will see Luffy in a new and final form of Gear 4. Dragoon Man consists of Luffy taking on a usual Gear 4 form with hockey patterns over his body plus an increase in the size as he blow up his body using air. We imagine this form to be power based form, much like Bound Man but less dense, which means he'll be lighter. Think of the power of a Bound Man but with the speed of Snake Man. Luffy will be light enough to float, which will give him the appearance of flying. This result in his body becoming more taller when the former form is giving him the body look of Kaido's dragon form. The main feature of this form will be resistance to fire as Luffy will be coated in the body of Fire Haki. In this fire body from his attack, Red Hawk will be more powerful. He might even have a new move, a more powerful version of Red Hawk. Our guess is Dragon Fist. Let us know what you think the new move would be called. Now let's explain why the name Dragoon and why it applies to Luffy. The term Dragoon came from the nickname for the weapon, the combined or short musket called the Dragon, which referred to the fire that emits out of the gun when fired, hence the term Dragon or Dragoon soldiers. The Dragoon has military connections, but like one of Luffy's other Gear 4 forms, Tank Man, the Dragoon as well is used in fantasy type games like the Final Fantasy series for example. The Dragoon, also localized as Dragon Knight or Lancer, is a recurring job in the Final Fantasy series. First appeared in Final Fantasy 2 that become one of the most iconic jobs classes in the series. Luffy will become a literal dragon slayer in this form, and not like the dragon slayers of fairy tale, more like a knight from the old tales. Now let's move on to Zoro. Now this is where things get more interesting. We've seen the possibilities for Luffy with his power. Now Zoro's potential is even more great. Guess his theme ties in closely with this. Of course there's all the rumor, Wano, Shushui and killing dragons, but we already know about most of that. So we focus on another connection to Zoro, Hawkeye Mihawk. Before we get into Mihawk though, let's look at the possibilities for Zoro having the power of the dragon. First and most obvious is the fire. Zoro has stated that he would like Fire Sword, and we covered this before, but this idea is a little bit different. Like Luffy, Zoro would turn his Haki aura into flames and that would engulf his blades and let Zoro on fire. The flames from this would be more intense than those Kinemon uses, as these flames would be the flames of the dragon breath. The second possibility, and in our opinion the most exciting one, is the power of flight. Yes, that's right, Zoro will fly. To achieve this feat, Zoro will gain the dragon wings. This isn't to say that Zoro will sprout wings from his back and become a human-dragon hybrid. We'll explain that this isn't a mutation. No, Zoro will enter his new Asura form, and while in this Asura form he will be more demon-like, as he will help the wings of the dragon, which very much like that of wings you see in the pictures of demons, that's always depicted as being bat-like. Interesting enough, Zoro has only ever used the Asura form once in the canon story of One Piece. We have a very good idea for why this is, but that's for a later theory. For now, we'll put it down to Oda possibly saving the Asura Zoro for something big like this theory. Now, for the why. Why wings? Since Zoro's introduction back in chapter 3 and Kobe being the first person to mention him, he has been described as a demon or devil. Zoro is quite monstrous in terms of power, and even that has been mentioned throughout the series, but it's the claim that he's a demon that interests us the most. When someone is referred to a demon, normally it's just in the sense of either that person or their nature, but in Zoro's case it could be more literal. Not that he's a real demon, or could be, but that's for now theory, referring to his aura, which is what leads to his Asura transformation. See, an Asura is a demigod, but later on becomes demons. There's a few different types of Asura in different cultures, but the one we mostly refer to Zoro by, that Hindu Asura. But take into account that they also appear in Japanese folklore and legends too, so perhaps he's more related to those ones. The theme of Zoro being a demon goes beyond even just what people think of him. He was even trained by a high demon himself, one of the great legends, Count Dracula, also known as Hawkeye Mihawk. Hawkeye's full name is Dragoon Mihawk. Mihawk doesn't share the name of Dracula. His whole theme is around Dracula, from his look to even his sword. Ever notice that Mihawk's sword is the shape of the cross? He even bears a cross around his neck. Crosses in the folklore and legends say they will repel a vampire, as they are unholy beings. But this is not true for Dracula. Garlic and crosses do nothing to him, as he is the highest class of vampire. More importantly, it goes back to the real life inspiration behind Dracula, Vlad Impaler. Vlad III, most commonly known as Vlad the Impaler of Vlad Dracula, was Voivode of Wallachia 3 times between 1448 and his death. He often considered one of the most important rulers in Wallachia's history and a national hero of Romania. Vlad is only known for his legends of being Count Dracula, but also for his brutality, as he would impale anyone unfortunate enough to cross him. He killed most in the most cruel of ways possible. Now coming back to Dracula, one of Dracula's most common traits is the power to transform himself into a bat and fly through the night in search of his next victim. As we mentioned earlier, Dracula's wings are very close to appearance to bat wings. This is also true for any paintings and pictures you would see of demons in fiction. The fact that Zoro has a demon-like aura already has been trained by the One Piece world's own Dracula. It only makes sense that if his Asura form was to evolve, it would take on wings and give Zoro the power of flight. A lot of us have suspected that Zoro will fight off against King, who we know has the power to fly also, so the matchup would be complete of Zoro's gain the power to fly too. Normally Asuras don't have wings in mythology, but there is a game that features an Asura with wings, and that game is called Samurai Showdown. It might be a stretch, but Oda could have taken some inspiration from the game, and even the fact that the game is named Samurai further points to the possibility that Zoro might become a winged Asura in Wano. As we mentioned earlier, the dragon name is number 13. This has a lot of meaning also, but that is for the next theory. As mathematician says, numbers never lie, and we have the numbers now. Until next time.
Hey all, hope everyone had a good Christmas. I'd like to add on one more part for this theory, mainly to do with Luffy's side of it. As revealed in chapter 1000, Luffy demonstrated a new attack, Red Rock. Though I'll wait for the official translations before I comment on this new attack, but it's a good clue into this theory, and that Luffy is using fire-based attacks to deal with Kaido. As the saying goes, fight fire with fire. What I noticed as well is that Kid is going to play a role in this battle, but make no mistake, Luffy will have the final blow. That I'm confident about. But I believe that Kid's role is going to be a support role for Luffy. Even though this is out of character for Kid, I believe he'll have to see sense and aid Luffy. As we mentioned earlier, Luffy will take on the Gear 4th Dragoon form. As we should know by now, Dragoons are a type of knight. Knights generally have suits of armour, and this too is true for Dragoons, so I predict that Kid will use his magnetic power, level for power, to use the samurai armour as well as some other metal that might be lying around to equip to Luffy, giving him the armoured knight look. And in true Luffy fashion, like when he's been aided by others such as Mr. Free, he'll name the new look something like Mecha Luffy. Mecha Luffy will fit well with the Japanese theme going on with the Wano arc, and even ties in with the Godzilla theme of Kaido, as there has also been a Mecha Godzilla. As well as Mecha Godzilla, Godzilla has fought other mecha opponents. Jet Jaguar. Jet Jaguar is a heroic mecha created by Toho that first appeared in the 1973 Godzilla film Godzilla vs. Megalon. Jet Jaguar even has wings, so this could even lead to Luffy and Zoro having a combo move, where Zoro flies Luffy with his wings and they attack Kaido together. Zoro will likely have got this idea from Marco, who flew Zoro up to the top.
To add bro, in 1973 after Return of Ultraman, Ultraman Ace and Ultraman Taro, dozens of Ultraman lookalikes started to pop up all over the Japanese media. Spectreman, Zone Fighter, Godman, Green Man, Megaloman, and most infamously Jet Jaguar. A contest was held for a new Toho film, and a Japanese student created the robot and villain Megalon. Toho liked the character design, made the film but added two of the more popular characters, Gigan and Godzilla himself. Toshibura Productions didn't mind this. The original Jet Jaguar name was Red alone, and it featured him fighting Megalon by himself. However, Toho decided to add Godzilla and Gigan to the movie, as they believed that Red alone could not hold his own in the movie financially.
Good point, bro. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed the theory and have a happy new year. See you all in 2021.
Please leave your comments down below, please click like, and if you haven't, please subscribe to Flying Panda, and of course, join our Discord. The road to 100k subs is underway.
Flying Panda.
One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind, I designed this rhyme, explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as a pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock ticks life away, it's so unreal. Till you look out below, what time fly throughout the window. Trying to hold on, but didn't even know. I wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside, even though I tried. It all fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of the time when I tried so hard.